Welcome to the Vision Profiles podcast. Join us, dedicated Apple Vision Pro users, as we dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty Gensius, a faculty member at a Midwest University, podcaster, and an Apple product fan.
And I'm Eric Bolden. I work with IT, but my interest is in finding interesting ways to share content, currently photography of plants, birds, and panoramic sequences.
And I'm Dave Ginsburg, the host of the In Touch with iOS podcast. I am passionate about technology, especially Apple, and use it in a real-world experience as a 27-year IT professional, iPhone subject matter expert, and I learn new things about the Vision Pro every day.
Well, we were talking pre-show, and I told Eric, no, stop. Let's save this for the show because he's got to experience the story. And I think you're probably going to have to start from why did you walk into an Apple store today, anyways?
So before I went on vacation, I had ordered a developer strap because I needed to. Apple was having a 2-day seminar, and I wanted to be able to do some coding. And so I thought I'd be organized, get it ahead of time, and went on vacation, came back to find out that there was a new developer strap. And of course, between vacation and everything else, I had exceeded that 14-day window. So I needed to go into a store to find out if someone would be willing to give me an exception so that I could return it and then turn around and order the new version of the developer strap. And it took some talking because I had to go to the right person at the store, but yes, they were willing to make an exception.
So did you
However,
get a new developer strap?
It should be here next week.
Oh, okay.
Because you order it from the developer program, not from the store. So that was creating some difficulty since there were a lot of people that didn't know what to do with it because it wasn't anything they had ever seen before. So, however, I figured while I was there, it would be the perfect time to go and try the new M5 Vision Pro. And I thought, with some arm twisting, I might even be able to take one home with me. So they said, yeah, you're supposed to go online and book it. And I said, well, I'm here now. This would be great. And they talked to the demo person who said, yeah, fine. You just have to wait for the current session to be over. Then we'll schedule you and we'll add you to the list. So they put my name in and add me to the list and said, go over to that other table, sit there, occupy yourself. Fine. I had a bunch of stuff to read. And so I waited, and the other demo was done. Another person had come up to talk to the demo person directly and said, hey, can I get a demo of the Vision Pro? And he said, yeah, sure. And started to set stuff up. And then I said, hey, I had already signed up. And he said, oh, yeah, no. And I said, but, I'm not in a rush. Go ahead. Let the other person demo. I can wait. So no. We've got more than one person, and so we'll do both of you. And we've got somebody that just got trained a couple days ago, and they need to practice. And I'd said, if you got somebody who needs practice or whatever, I'm willing to be a practice dummy or whatever.
Did you pull the podcast thing? Well, I do a podcast and it would be helpful.
That did come up, right? Which was one of the reasons why they were more than willing to, make sure I got a demo. But I really wasn't in a rush. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And I was kind of interested to see how they would do the demo with another person, and that let me actually see it. So in this particular store, they could do up to 3 demos at a time, But if you wanted to get a demo of the virtual Mac display, they only had one configuration for that. Only one device was set up paired with a Mac. The other two, it was just the Vision Pro. So you had to make sure you got the correct device to be able to do that part of the demo, and you just ask for it, and that wasn't a problem. Turned out the one device they had to do that went to the other guy. So and the person that was needing practice wasn't back from their break yet. So I ended up waiting a little bit longer, but it doesn't really matter. So they brought out the machine, they got the Mac out, got the person out, and the person that they had demoing to the first guy had been doing it for a long time. Really familiar, ran him through. It took a little while to kind of get the hand controls and gestures and that sort of thing. But it worked. He walked out with a new M5 and the 1 terabyte version, which would have been the one that I would have considered. They were now out, which is good because it was cheaper for me. And then he got done. They brought out the other one, got the new demo person who had just been trained and had not really had a chance to use the device. So they run them through the kind of the sequence of how to get people set up, how to get it to work. But she'd never done the lenses, so they had somebody else come out and walk her through getting my lenses set. Evidently, you could use your current inserts, but they didn't have a good mechanism or couldn't figure out how to do it in their system to pair everything together properly. So the script didn't work because the companion iPad wouldn't work. So I said, yeah, fine, just do it the way that makes it easier. So they did a insert for me, ran the whole thing through, got everything on. She went through a bunch of dots are going to come up. You got to click on the dots. I clicked on all the dots, went to the next screen, finished setting everything up. And then she said, and there'll be another circle of dots. And I said, I already did that. And I said, so she got the computer paired. It took a couple of times because they had to reboot one device to get it to all tie together correctly. So it was a little rough, mostly because she hadn't seen it before. But she was willing to let me go off script. She said I could wander through, I could do whatever I wanted, which was good because what I wanted to do was to get a sense, because on the M2 Vision Pro, once you get like 5 or 6 widgets, it starts to get difficult to have everything update properly. So I turned around and I stuck widgets up all the way down the display case on the side and up above where all of the phone cases and stuff were on the one wall. And then did the virtual display and set it to ultra wide, and then added another Safari window in the Vision Pro and did a bunch of tabs. Basically made it busy enough that I would have noticed it on the M2, and it was smooth. Everything updated. The person doing the demo was all excited because she didn't know what a widget was and had never heard of widgets. And she said, "Oh, that is so cool!" And you had like a clock and a calendar. And then I took the one widget where you put a panoramic picture on it. And I said, "Oh, this is really cool too." So then I walk up to that window and I said, "Yeah, and you can look out the window and you can look left and right and you get, depth as if it really is a window." She said, "Oh, this is the coolest thing. I've never seen that." It was like I was doing the demo to her. But
I was just going to say that.
Did you put an application in while you were there, Eric?
That's right.
Yeah, I was tempted, but it was a new person learning to demo. I figured you might as well broaden her horizons a little bit and get her up to speed. So yes, very successful demo. I was very impressed with the M5. It is really the M2, but being able to handle a heavier load, and which is good news too, because it means if you've got an M2, at least at the moment, you need a little more patience, maybe not quite so many widgets, but it does everything. It was bad in the sense that now I have seen what the M5 can do, and it has created a desire for me to have something that's a little bit faster. So I ordered the new developer strap. I'm waiting. That should get in the next week or so. I will tinker with that a little bit. Then I might have to look at, how do I get my hands on the M5?
So, Dave, do you have any questions for Eric?
Yeah, I was going to say the developer strap, is it backwards compatible to M5 and
Yes.
M2?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
That was my question. Will it do the same pass-through rate as on an M5?
I don't believe so. I think you need
Okay.
the M5 to get the faster speed.
Yeah.
It'll work
Okay.
the way the old strap worked on the old device.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you
That's
notice?
processor.
Yeah. Did you notice the fans or anything go on while you were doing?
And I never heard a fan.
Oh,
And when I went and touched the top of the device, it really didn't seem to heat up.
huh. Okay. All right.
It was only maybe 45 minutes that I was using it. So I didn't throw absolutely everything at it. I just threw all of the stuff that was really annoying me on my current Vision Pro. And by annoying, I mean I would sit there staring at my watch saying, when is this going to be done? And I didn't get that feeling on the M5.
Yeah. Any conversion 2D to 3D? Did
Yes,
you get into
I
that?
did. I did 3 or 4 pictures, which they also said, "Oh, that's really cool. That looks really neat." And they were staring at an iPad view of what I was doing. So I'm not sure what they were getting that was really cool and neat, but they were all excited, or this new person was. I suggested at the end of the demo that she should get some time to just play herself off script, try some of
Yeah.
this stuff, because she probably shouldn't be quite as excited about stuff like she's seen it only just that once. But it was nice. The enthusiasm was good. I got done and I was looking down because I had put a background up and a bunch of, so I couldn't see but there was like a crowd of people behind the iPad on the other side of the table. But I couldn't see because of all of the, I had turned on, a background image and a bunch of other things.
So there were people watching your demo through her iPad?
Yes, employees. All of the other demo people were standing there staring at it saying, "Oh, wow. And you can do that, and you can do that." And so that was kind of cool.
And that's the moment you chose to do a plug for Vision Profiles, right?
Yeah, and I talked about the podcast, yeah. And let's see, what was that? Oh, and then they let me do a recording because it seemed like the recording seemed smoother.
Mhm.
I don't know for sure, so I'm gonna have to redo that same recording. I just held my hand out and then counted up to 10 with fingers so that I could see some movement, and then sent that to my phone so I could watch it again later. But the quality on it seemed pretty good, so I will try to replicate that with the M2 to see if it behaves the same way.
Man, we just need to send you, remote out on the street.
Yeah.
You know how to put people through the paces, which is pretty cool.
Well, it's not surprising that people are still learning the Vision Pro, because I remember when I went in there with my debacle with my having to get it restored, they're all very not so knowledgeable of they know the basics, but not the hardcore knowledge that we're learning here as we talk about it every week. But I'm not surprised. I mean,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
I mean, Apple does the core training for all that stuff, and just proof point here that you're teaching them something.
Yeah.
So, and I did ask, because I think they were surprised, because I was talking to the other guy doing the demo too, because he had some other questions before he started and so on, and he walked out with a 1 terabyte machine, and so I was kind of curious to see what they had in stock. So at the end of the day, they had 2 of the 256 gig machines. The 1 terabyte one went out. They couldn't tell me what was in stock at the start of the day, or they weren't willing to. But they seemed surprised that they went through inventory that quickly. They said they want to, but it didn't sound like that was a typical day.
Yeah, I the stuff I see chatter on Reddit and stuff, folks are asking, is 256 enough? And I think the sweet spot is the 512. And that's why when they said, what do you have in stock? They didn't say we've got some 512s. My guess is those went out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, after going through the demo, I'm kind of willing to revise things a little bit, because there are a lot of people that want it primarily just to watch video or to use it as a game display. They're not sitting on it working all day. They're not traveling with it necessarily. And in that use case, I think a 256 would work. I think the difference in price between 256 and 512, you might as well get the 512. I think it probably should be pretty unusual for somebody to get the 1 terabyte version. But I'm feeling better about the 256 as just a device to put it on and consume things.
Yeah.
In my case, my network's not fast enough. I need to cache stuff. So,
Dave, any final questions for Eric?
No, I'm glad to hear that they were flexible with the developer strap, and that's not surprising. Apple has always been pretty flexible with those kinds of things. They're reasonable to a point. Just always don't threaten and say, "Hey, I buy this or that," and they don't care. They're like nice. They're like
yeah.
I've tried that tactic in the past and it doesn't work.
Well, and it helped that it was still in a sealed box. The
Yeah.
biggest problem I had is nobody knew what it was.
Yeah,
It has
Really?
the logo on it, and I'm trying to return it, but it's like it's not in their inventory because they don't sell it, and so
Right.
it took a while to get to the person that could answer the question. And so what they ended up saying is, well, just wait until you go do the demo, and then ask about returning it at that point, because that's somebody who actually works with the Vision Pro, and that worked pretty well.
And you had receipts besides the unboxed thing? Okay, that helps too.
Yep. Yeah, and you needed that because they needed to be able to look it up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. That's a good story. And I agree with Dave. I always tell them how much I love their products. I don't necessarily tell them I use this, I use this, I have this, I have this. But I do kind of tell them how much I like their products and how much I like the experience of being in an Apple store, in terms of talking to people and getting what I need out of the Apple store. So let's go ahead and run through some of this. The news week has been a lot of repeats, or a lot of here's some this article or this journal finally decided to do a review article on it. So it has some slow points, but I've got some things that I'd like to share. For starters, this came out, the new beta came out, I think, last Tuesday. So just a day after we did the show, Vision OS 2.6, 26.2 beta release. And this is the developer beta. I guess it's the beta because they don't have things outside of that. And what's new with it? Well, you kind of have to run a comb through the sand in order to figure out what's new with it. But simply, there are some things. The Logitech Muse controller support has been added and has been improved. It's Developers can choose whether the Muse input is handled as a regular touch events for UI apps or as a game controller for more precise control in games or creative stuff. In short, if you use the Muse apps, are now recognize it properly. We've seen that because Eric and Dave and I are sending back, and I'm reading more articles about what apps it's available for. Also, the fix in the Muse button sensitivity. I noticed that when I first got it, before we got this beta update, that it was really hard for me to figure out how hard or how soft or which button to push and how long to get it to generate. That's now fixed with this beta update. The pressure values are normalized, meaning a smoother and more predictable response when drawing or pressing. Game controller framework updates behind the scenes. Apple's improved a way for physical input extents like motion range, force, or position are handled, so that's helpful. For users, that means games and creative tools that use controllers should feel a bit more natural. And then just general stability fixes with the app. So that's new with what's new in the update and a kind of shortened version of what's happened. Who knows? Tomorrow is Tuesday. We might see beta 2. They roll these things out like crackers for chili. They come out all the time. It seems all the time now, but often with very little new additional stuff. Guys, do you have anything to add to that? So, what else is new? Well, Eric, you already stole the show with your review. Apple Vision Pro M5 review. 4 times the GPU power changes the game. And as you were talking, I was kind of going through this article. That's why I asked about the fans or the heat from it. But this is a good comparative review. It's coming out of the virtual.reality.news website. So, and it's Next Reality is the company. And I could not resist this article.
In many ways,
Yeah.
I was going to say, in many ways, that paragraph where they talk about the device is still for early adapters and professionals who are investing in an emerging tool. It's not a mainstream. We're going to ship billions of these out to everybody yet, but they have updated it, polished quite a bit off, improved things. So for all of the content producers, it makes life easier.
Yeah, in terms of the upgrade with the chip. I could not resist this one. GQ. GQ does a story on the Vision Pro called Apple's Vision Pro's Second Coming is Surprisingly Chill Hang. That's some GQ language I am not aware of, but I think it's good. No redesign, but still a better hang.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we have I think we have a show title.
Yeah. Chill hang. Chill hang.
Yeah. Eric chill hangs at the Apple Store. That's going to be the show title, I think.
There you go.
Unreal Home Cinema and pilot training. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now that much of the bluster behind the Vision Pro has subsided, it's a lot easier to judge this device on its own merits as opposed to the ones that were first imposed on it. That's a good statement. Will this product turn out to be revolutionary as the iPhone? Not while it still costs more than $3,000. How close to this headset is the finished how close is the headset to the finished article? A few years at least, even if it's come a long way with a reasonable short amount of time. Do I like the Vision Pro anyway? I do. Sometimes to my own surprise. So, interesting. I'm not a big GQ reader. You probably could have figured that just by spending time with me. But
I don't think any of us are.
but I had to put that one in because hell, it was GQ. I think we showed a little bit about this. This came out. This came out a while ago. So we'll skip over the Digitech article. Then Apple, this is Glass Almanac for, I guess, all the glass halls. As you haven't heard that expression before, Dave? God, I got both of you guys.
No,
in one.
I've heard it. I'm just laughing.
Yeah, because it's the Glass Almanac. It's the site for today's glass halls. Apple Vision Pro reveals 10% sharper pixels in 2025. What changes now? This came out November 8th. And still the reaction, still the top thing is the headset starts at $3,500 and affordability concerns. So again, another review. Talks a little bit about the differences in the latest version. But yeah.
Well, it's kind of interesting, because reading through the Reddit articles talking about the new device, yeah, everybody mentions the price, but there's a lot of chatter about if that's too much, you can pick up a used device and get the same experience, at least at the moment, and that has made a lot of people look at it, and there's some people that look at it and say, yeah, that would be less expensive, but I'm just going to go buy the current one. It's not a first rev device anymore. It's the second. So I think there are going to be a lot more people getting a chance to experience it just with the number of used devices out there.
Yeah, I never use eBay, but I did go on eBay to see what the pricing was with original units. Now they had a M5 unit someone was willing to sell you for $5,000. But and I'm like, okay, this is why I don't go on eBay. And but most of the units were between 1,700 and 2,000. The used M2s. There were people selling the dual head strap for $500 if you absolutely had to have it right now. And but I also went on to OWC, which is Sell Your Mac, because we covered that a couple of weeks ago. In terms of they're willing to give you $1,200, then their website now says $1,000, and I don't see them selling it. I don't see them selling units. So so if you go to the sales end of it, would you like to buy used units? They don't have Vision Pros listed. So, Dave, I think you said that's because they're not getting any.
Yeah. I mean, it's because, they don't have any inventory. I mean, they're trying to entice people to sell it for $1,000. Really? I mean, that's crazy.
They probably have enough people internally that want one. If anything comes in, it's like, mine.
Yeah, I'll take it for $1,000. Yeah, I'm also thinking this was where my mind went because I looked at OWC Sell Your Mac site and saw what the prices were, and then went to eBay. And I thought if they're getting 1,000 for it, they could be or less. They could be unloading it on eBay and not even having to go through setting up a store to be able to do it. I mean, they have stores for everything else. It wouldn't be difficult.
Yeah.
But if they didn't have a vast amount of inventory coming in and they just had some, buyer regrets that are willing to dump it for a low price and put that part behind them, I'm just wondering if that they're finding another place to sell it. But I'll keep checking to see whether they wind up becoming a sales point for used Vision Pros.
I almost had forgotten, but one other thing came up when I was at the Apple store, and that is that my current Vision Pro I have on the Apple One plan. I added on because it was cheaper than the Apple Care I originally had. But you can only have one Vision Pro at a time on that plan.
Yeah.
So if you go out and you buy a second device, you can't put it on the plan. So you need to get like month by month Apple Care or something else until your device goes. So there's some thought that has to go into keeping everybody covered.
Yeah, I ran into that problem with having a second Vision Pro because I was getting this wacky stuff. I was getting an email every day, or one of those red dots in your Find My devices telling you that something's gone amok, or one of the messages as soon as I opened up systems, there's a dot there and I click on it. It's like your Vision Pro has 5 more days before it runs out of from service. I'm like, wait a minute. And they were like, would you like to find out more about that? I'd click on it and it would go, okay, now click on this. And I thought it would take me to a place where I could purchase Apple Care for it. And it never did. It said, sorry. And it gave me we can't process your request right now. And so I called it into Apple and I'm like, I'm concerned I got this new device. It says I'm going to lose coverage in 14 days. I can see that, you're giving me the 14-day warranty on it or whatever. But what happens after that? Because I can't add it to Apple Care Plus. And they're like, oh, yeah, you can. I said, no, you can't carry 2 Vision Pros on that. And they're like, oh, I think you can. I said, well, what should I do? And they said, well, wait for 14 days and see what happens. Then call us back if nothing happens. And I said, I have screenshots of it if you'd like to see the screenshots. They said, keep the screenshots in case nothing happens so you have evidence that you had been prompted and tried to do this and this was the response you were getting. And then I can't remember what happened. It was in the last day or so where it said, I clicked on it and it then gave me the option to purchase 1 year or $20 a month. And 2 years or $20 a month, something like that. No, 1 year. And I wound up paying for the 1 year in whole. And so that the second device is covered. But you're right, Eric. Again, Apple thinks they're providing a service that they don't provide, that you're ponying up $20 a month for the second device, which is what you'd be doing if it was part of an Apple Care Plus or an Apple One, whatever they call it, Apple Care One. So yeah, I mean it works out, but you can't add it in. So yeah. There's an article here that I thought was just a little different, and it is an Engadget article, which probably why it makes it different. What's next for Vision Pro? Apple should take a cue from Xreal's smart glasses. They say forget about the Samsung $1,800 Galaxy XR. And I'm beginning to enjoy that device. But and I saw these Xreal Project Auroras, and these are a new set of glasses that they have. They talk about comparing it to Meta's 800 Ray-Ban display. I haven't yet found a reason to get the Meta $800 Ray-Bans. But Xreal's history of delivering devices between 200 and 649, I bet they'll come cheaper than the Galaxy XR. So they're talking about Project Aurora differs a bit with its tethered computing puck. I don't know. This sort of seems like it was an article about the Xreal devices, but not really talking about how Vision Pro should be trying to do something other than trying to call it Vision Air, or his device, his idea of what the device should be. It wouldn't need the full capabilities of an M5 chip, just have to be smart enough to juggle virtual windows, map objects in 3D space, and run most VisionOS apps. Okay. I mean, there's more to the article, but why would you want to buy a pair of glasses that doesn't have the M5 in it if it's a new set of glasses that Apple's putting out? And why would you want to have to run most OS apps and not all Vision OS apps with this? It just seems the author is trying to put logic into making Vision Pro seem more like an Xreal device than really what are considerations for the Vision Pro.
Yeah, this author is he's really good, Devendra Hardawar. He has writes a lot of great stuff at Engadget. I see him on Twitter all the time, so he's well renowned in as far as his views on this stuff. But no, I know. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who just have the same feeling about the Vision Pro, that it's not ready for prime time. Which when he first reviewed it, he says this is a beta device. I mean, yeah, he pretty much said that in his YouTube video. So, uh, and same thing he's saying about the Galaxy XR, and so he just isn't convinced that these devices are ready for prime time just yet. But how are you supposed to try them and use them for this time like we do, without that's what these guys do. They get their demo units, they demo them, and go through it just like all the other content creators, and they either say yay or nay. So I don't say I agree with them. I don't think it's going to be something that is I agree with, but I kind of agree with them on the Samsung side of things. It doesn't give him much hope about the Android XR. I mean, I'm biased and not a fan of Android in the first place, but I mean, you have one, and you seem to see you've been okay with it. So I mean,
Yeah.
how do you compare them?
Well, you don't. I mean, it, as I think I said on the last show, it gives you all the kinds of things that you would expect out of an Android device
Mm-hmm.
on that platform. So things get stuck. They don't perform the way they are. The hand gestures and the hand superimposed hand doesn't follow and track exactly the way it should be. Apps don't
Mm-hmm.
open when you would. It's Vision Pro in its first month, and so I think of it as the software is going to get better. It's not any worse than Vision Pro was in its first month, and so it's hard to make that comparison at this point. I would think it would have been better cooked since they are later to the game. They could have learned a lot of lessons from Apple in creating the Galaxy XR that they didn't, even though it was a different platform. And they did learn some things. They obviously stole some things from Apple in kind of the look and the feel of it, but still, it's
Mhm.
still a bit. It has its janky points, just like we had with Vision Pro in the first month that it was out. So the comments on this article actually are pretty good. With certainty, Apple will not follow that approach. What you get from this is going to look much closer to what Meta is doing than what Xreal is doing with their screen behind glasses approach to XR. So, just some interesting comments about.
Yep. Just like you get the comments about that it's a complete failure, Apple's doomed,
Right. Yeah.
so on, so on.
Yeah. I'd love to have a Vision Pro, even in its current state. I don't see anything too wrong in its current state. The $3,500 price tag just keeps me away. Yeah. Anyways,
Which,
go ahead.
brings to mind the comment on our chat about, Craig just picked up a used one.
Oh, wow. So, Craig, thanks for my chat is over in this direction, and I'm spending all my time in this direction. Thanks for picking up on that, Eric. Craig, so, Craig, let us know. Oh, I did, arriving tomorrow.
Yep. And Andy ordered this
Strap.
strap too, I think.
Yeah.
The dual strap, yep.
So, I'm
So,
real curious.
significantly better deal than $3,500.
Yeah. So, again, I guess my question is he hasn't had a chance to try it yet. And Craig, do you
Right.
have one already, or is this going to be your first attempt at having a Vision Pro?
It seems to be his first one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's always good.
We'll have to wait for a little bit, and then we'll get a chance to hear back, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't remember the
Craig?
last time I've heard anybody
Yeah.
buy anything from Craigslist.
Yeah. Well, it is Craig, and he bought it from Craig's List, so that makes sense.
I don't know. Makes sense.
But Craig, when that thing arrives, I want it on your head for at least 8 hours a day. So if it arrives tomorrow, we'll be able to ask you next week through chat, how do you like it, son?
We look forward to your review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, couple of quick articles,
So-
I think.
So one.
Yeah. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, I was just gonna, one of the other things that's been coming up in chats recently has been the layout of the virtual display. And I wasn't sure for the Samsung if you connect it as a virtual display what it can do, but there were some comments from people saying, "Oh, the way I use my displays is 4 up, 2 displays above and 2 displays before or below." And with Apple's virtual display, you get either ultra wide or not. So a lot of people, instead of doing the widest ultra wide, they do the middle one
Mhm.
and turn up the resolution as high as possible to get two displays, and then you can use like a browser or something in the Vision Pro and put that underneath to kind of mimic it. But they were wanting a different layout that
Yeah.
isn't available, and I hadn't heard anybody ask for it before, so it was sort of an interesting observation.
Yeah, I saw a interesting link, and maybe you sent it to me. That was a guy sat down. It's about a 16-minute video, and the first 10 minutes is him trying to set up virtual display on his Galaxy XR, and he ran into some stumbling blocks. And again, that's where I'm going. This is like the early Vision Pro. They haven't quite. You think it would be a simple thing for them to figure out before putting the device out, or at least having the software fixed. But he had some struggles. He finally got it going. And I can't remember exactly what he had to do, but it was single display. And he commented that That's all we got right now is one display. We can't do separate windows. We can't do that stuff. And then the last 8 minutes of the 16-minute video, or last 6 minutes of it, were him doing a comparison with Apple Vision Pro and with the ultra wide screen, and his ability to be able to use multiple windows on the ultra wide, and the ease of setting it up at this point. So yeah, it's to say it's flawless with that, it's not there yet. Part of it, I'm wondering if get this thing done. We want to get it done, and we definitely want to have it on the market by Christmas. That folks will be patient with it. Not to turn this into a Galaxy show, but I have been waiting to get controllers for it. And we'll send you an email when new controllers come in. I've gotten probably 3 or 4 of those emails this week. And I've gone to try and get them, and they're already sold out. So like the first time was, you can get it December 15th. And I'm like, no, I missed it. It was sold out. And then the second time it was, well, you can get them now. We've got some extra ones to sell. You'll get them by January 4th. Missed that one. Today at 1:31, I got the email, went into Samsung, went on their site, and at 1:34, 3 minutes later, they were completely sold out. And the window there was for January 20th. So the window keeps getting pushed back, and the availability of the device, of the controllers aren't there yet. So there's a lot of growing pains. Of course, we've got the same issue with the dual head strap, but at least we've got a lot of alternatives for that work with it. So, I did a series of articles that I put together that were related to productivity. And here's an article from 9 to 5 Mac, Apple at Work, how Apple Vision Pro is helping redefine accessibility through non-invasive brain computing interfaces. And the article is pretty cool in terms of talking about cognitions, which we've talked about before on the show. Clinical study runs through April 2026. Focuses on people living with ALS. And again, just a really good review of how it's helping people from a medical and accessibility standpoint. Another article here on, I finally got my Vision Pro and spent 3 days with it. Eric, I think you sent me this link, and it's it will be in the show notes with all the links. This is coming off a Reddit post. And I've been seeing more of these too. And then Marvel 3D movies on Apple Vision Pro look better than anyone has ever seen them before. And this is related to Disney in a sense. And this is a blog post by Matthew Casanelli with that. And then here's the comparison piece. I spent a week with Samsung Galaxy XR, and Apple's Vision Pro has nothing to worry about yet. So it's a pretty extensive comparison article. And again, it goes through that table to kind of show you the difference between Samsung's XR, Apple Vision Pro M5, MetaQuest, and MetaQuest Pro, which they're not doing anymore. But yeah. So, I want to show this one last one. It caught my eye. And Dave always tells me I have the ability to find very weird articles on very weird sites. This is Xreal India. And this is an immersion Odisha, a Vision Pro powered journey into heritage and flavor. And it's a fascinating article in terms, if you go in here, you can witness the elegance of Odisha dance through interactive VR sessions. You can also savor street style Odia delicacies from Cuttack and Puri, each bite a nostalgic echo from the esteemed coast. So this is kind of a connection between culture, food, and technology, and I thought that was pretty cool in terms of options. And then finally, this medical eyesight unveils XRAI view for Apple Vision Pro. And it's that concept essentially that we've heard from medical eyesight before, where they're able to put data up in a Vision Pro. So, and with the pass through, the surgeon can continue to do the work that they're doing. So it eliminates the need for traditional medical monitors without sacrificing that. So, from medical monitors to trips, cultural trips to India to Marvel movies, there's been quite a few articles this week about essentially productivity. Any thoughts, guys, on any of these?
Um, there, there have been a lot of articles and discussions about experiences and trying to have the experiences be as realistic as possible, and going back in and looking at how those experiences worked on other headsets and in other environments. You mentioned the 3D movie experience with Marvel being so much better, and it's the whole concept that if you go to a movie theater and watch a 3D movie, there really is only one seat in the theater that's optimized, assuming you're the right height. And, whereas if you watch it through your Vision Pro, you're always in the perfect spot for the movie, no matter what seat you pick in the virtual theater. And there's more and more of that, and there's a lot more attention being paid to what is the image in both eyes, because sometimes the software doesn't quite get the parallax right, or there's a lot of fine tuning that people are going back and looking at, trying to keep it so that um, you're less likely to have motion issues. So I just see that as all of those steps are a movement to get ready to be able to do this at scale. It's not quite there yet, but there's a lot of progress and a lot of research, and the work Apple's doing on how do you do large scale sporting events is another example. So yeah, there's going to be a lot to look forward to.
I've got a couple of articles. I won't. I'll show them and mention them, but they're more related to application and development for app developers. This one is a post on Medium, Vision Pro development with Swift UI, designing for spatial computing. Kind of a background article that talks about Swift UI and how it fits in. And then this article, ANML helps BILT, or built, I guess, capital, all capital, bring 3D intelligent instructions to Apple Vision Pro. And this came out November 6th. And supporting ANML is supporting UX and spatial design efforts, shaping intuitive training experience that balances clarity. We have a play. Yeah, this is it's interesting. The video, which is on the website, which will again be a link, shows you how people can use it for training and understanding products. Like they're going to have to teach that product to someone else or sell that product. And it's using the 3D environment. So, guys, just in terms of that kind of use with Vision Pro, that could be cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, cool. Then I want to do a couple of fun things. We'll get into apps and then call it an evening. This first one, have any of you tried this? It's soldering with the new Logitech Muse spatial stylus. Well, Eric, you don't have a stylus, so
I
but
just started playing with it, so I don't have anything. But yep, I got to figure this out.
yeah. So Dave, tell us about your experience with it. As you said, you just started playing.
I just plugged it in today actually, and I at least got it Bluetooth synced. I just trying to seek out the apps that will be compatible with it. We did talk about other shows, but it's been crazy busy. But I can see how it's going to be something interesting to be able. I mean, I like the fact that I can, instead of having a pinch, I can navigate with the pencil if I want to, and use it for the keyboard and the touch buttons. I don't know if I necessarily want to hold that when I can just pinch my fingers, but getting a feel for what it's capable of. But getting into this is going to be cool. I definitely want to jump in and look at this.
Yeah, this is an app, and I think we might have mentioned it on a previous show, Circuit Flux, or maybe we didn't get to it. But solder, learn, and simulate. Learn how to solder circuits spatially. And you can do that. It looks like they're actually doing it with their fingers in this thing, but you can also use the Muse as a option for being able to use it like you would use a solder gun or a solder stylus. So yeah, that's one cool option. And this came out of Apple Magazine. Apple streamlines production pipeline to expand immersive video on Apple TV and Apple Vision Pro. Apple is accelerating the rollout of immersive video content through a new streamlined production process designed to increase efficiency and expand original programming for the Vision Pro. Was this part of the training, the 2-day training they had, Eric? The purpose of helping streamline it?
Yes, there definitely was a section where they covered that. Because that's been a problem kind of with everybody, and they were trying to share experiences and kind of everybody was at a different point in their projects, and so they were trying to take people who had done projects and share all of their knowledge and what worked and what didn't work to everyone who hadn't started their project or had started it but hadn't finished editing. And I think things will get more and more efficient, and there finally will be kind of guides for how to do everything, and that will help too.
Yeah. And so this article is I think a good article to look at, Apple Magazine. And again, Apple streamlines production pipeline to expand immersive video on Apple TV and the Vision Pro. going to just mention these and this so you can look at them again on the show notes. This is from Apple Insider, how spatial scenes and spatial photos on Apple Vision Pro add depth to your memories. And Eric has kind of talked about being able to put those up on widgets and kind of look around inside the widget to see what's there. And this describes the possibilities with it and ways in which you can generate them and have them part. Okay, so let's talk about apps. We'll get into the app portion of this. And Swiss Alpine Quest. We talked a little bit about it last week, so I want to check back in. There's a price point to it. It's $12. So I'm still wondering if I'm just going to do the free demo for a bit and call it a day. But you can discover Switzerland in an immersive adventure. Get ready for exciting adventure through the heart of Switzerland. Start in Bern, teleport to Thun, and then Interlaken, and then journey to stunning spots like Grindelwald, Lattenbrunnens, Trümmerbach Falls. So that's just me trying to pronounce those words. Is probably worth the $12. Eric, do you have anything to add to this?
If you pay for this app, they should let you go to all the spots without collecting the coins and the keys. I'm on week 2. I've made it to location 3. So at this rate, I'll be playing this game for another year. I will get my money's worth out of it and my exercise because,
So did you pay for
but I guess this isn't. Yeah, I figured why not? I'll try it. I'll go all in. And it's going to be a long time before I get to the end of this. Yeah, I don't know if I will recommend it exactly. I mean, it's not horrible, but catching coins and treasure boxes and not getting hit by bombs, that's sort of a separate thing from visiting all of the sites and locations. And they really need to have an option where you can just relax and visit the locations. I'm guessing they thought there wasn't enough to do just staring at a location, so they would make it more entertaining. It works better if you're standing up. I was not, so
yeah.
I miss a lot of the pictures and things. The accuracy is a little bit iffy. So
yeah, so the idea that you paid $12 for this, you figure you shouldn't have to be cashing in, finding coins in order to get through the environment. So, yeah.
yeah, it really should be free, and then you pay if you want to just zip around however you want. You should be able to teleport anywhere after you pay your money.
Yeah,
They did it backwards.
I'm gonna rely on both of you to talk about this final app because I got the sense from watching the chatter today that you might have tried this out, and it's called Flight Sight. Launches on Apple Vision Pro with its immersive video, 3D helicopters, and more. There's a 9 to 5 Mac article on it. And then we also have a Reddit connection here, the new Vision Pro helicopter training app. And tell us about it if you've played with this, Eric or Dave.
I haven't. Still, the demo's not even free now. It's about $9.99.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so basically it's $20 a month to use. The first month they give you a discount, but so it's only $10, except that you spend $10 to get the app, so you're still paying $20. They don't have all of the content. It's sort of an ongoing content thing. The content is well done. Pretty much you need to pay for at least a month to be able to try things out. I don't know if everyone will feel that there's enough content yet. I hate flying and I hate heights, and I really have always been kind of curious about
Then there's that.
a helicopter in the air. So for me, it was worth $20 to experience a helicopter without ever leaving the ground. And they go through pre-flight checklists, they go through taking off, they go through landing. You can look at a bunch of different aircraft. I would say, unless you're trying to train and familiarize yourself with a lot of different aircraft, that if you're curious and willing to spend the $20, spend the $20 and don't keep going. I don't know if I'd spend the $200 for a year. I think there'll be more to play with in another couple months. Maybe try it then, run through a bunch of things. For me, not having to leave the ground and not actually being in an aircraft was so worth it. I got to take care of all of my flight, seeing all this stuff, and never leaving the ground. And I felt so much better. It was worth it. I didn't have to pay for like a 1-hour flight lesson, or go take a tour and fly to Hawaii or something and take an helicopter tour where I wouldn't remember anything because I'd have to be too drugged up. So for me, yeah, it was well worth it. I'm going to do a month. I'll cancel it. I'll wait a few months, and a little later in the year, I'll try it again, because I'm not trying to get my license. I never want to leave the ground. But their videos, they're all really short. They seem to be filmed well. They were using a nice camera for it. Occasionally, things are just a little tight because there's not a lot of space. But you could read the gauges, you could read the controls, you could read the checklist. Occasionally, the one example one I went through, they actually, they set the air conditioning so you too can be comfortable in this helicopter. The guy went through the checklist, and it was about halfway before he remembered to show the other student, which is the camera, the rest of the checklist. That was, a little off, but it was good. A couple different instructors, or pilots or whatever, doing things. Everything they did, I never want to experience in real life. This was good.
Okay, Eric. So you're going to pay $20. You're going to remember 30 days from now to cancel it and not get automatically billed $20 again? Or are you going to set it up to just cancel it?
You can cancel
once
it
you
right
purchase
away.
it? Right. Yeah, cancel it right away. Okay.
Yeah, you purchase it, cancel it right away, and then I would say, give it a few months, and then check to see, because you can look to see what's available even if you haven't subscribed, and then when more stuff is out, say, yep, okay, here's another craft or whatever. I guess I don't mind paying it because they're using really good cameras. The photography is getting better and better. I want to encourage them.
But take your Dramamine before.
And I don't ever want to leave the ground.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the videos are short enough. I didn't have a problem with that. I mean, I always felt like, it would be nice if it was a little bit longer, which is good. Because if I ever felt it was too long and I wanted a bucket, that would be disappointing. I did not experience the need for that.
I like the first comment It's like General Akbar from Star Wars. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yeah, and then under there you see that they just upgraded 5 days ago the purchasing process for it. So apparently this person got caught in the trap. It's a trap. Okay, so there we go. I'm still waiting for that perfect flight simulator that I can play with, that I can purchase and not pay $20 a month to be able to do it. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's I think it's worth a month of a $20 a month. It's cheaper than going to an airport and then doing like experience a helicopter ride or something, and it's less stressful. So for people who don't want to fly but always wanted to know how do the helicopters stay in the air, it's worth it.
You can read about that in physics,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go look at some YouTube videos.
Yeah, I think it would be cheaper for you to actually get pilot training than to pay $20 a month for this.
Maybe Pilot Peak can hook you up.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but most of the pilot training involves actually getting in something at some point,
Yeah.
as a passenger or whatever. I don't want that.
Okay.
But I'm really curious to know, they go through all the controls, they go through the entire checklist. I get to see all of that. That's great. That's the part I'm really interested in. I just don't ever want to be off the ground.
All right. Well, we hope we'll have some more exciting apps for you next show that we have. Anything else to say, guys? Or are we going to call it an episode?
Let's call it.
Okay. It's been great hang chill with you, or chill hang, or whatever it is, through the
Chill
show.
hang.
Chill hang. And we've had some folks in the chat room. We've had Cletus come back, came in a little late, but came in, and it's great to see him in there. And then Craig,
Hey,
we
Cletus.
have got to find out about Craig's experience with the Vision Pro when it arrives and he gets some time to play with it.
Yes.
So, Dave, where can we find you?
Well, thanks for having me as always, Marty. It's you can find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. YouTube channel is youtube.com/intouchwithios. I'm here on Mondays with you fine fellows. Tuesday night, Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner and the crew. Thursday night, we record In Touch with iOS at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on the YouTube channel. And I'm also on the Mac Show and the British Tech Network most Fridays, as well as Mastodon and Blue Sky at Dave G65.
Thanks, Dave, for joining us. And should we say why this is a very special day for you?
Why not?
Yeah, Dave's birthday today. We won't tell you the date. We won't tell you how old, but it is his birthday. And he had the day off. He was telling us about that. And I'm glad you're ending off the night with us. And thank you for
Absolutely.
the episodes that you've been on, the contributions that you've been making. And you have what's left of your birthday. You have a good birthday. And hope to see you sometime soon. I mean, it's been a while since MacStock, but
MacStock.
We can talk off show about maybe a trip to Chicago for me. So
yes, let's do it.
Okay, Eric, where can we find you?
Well, let's see. Mastodon at eabolden at mes.to. Otherwise, Mondays, of course, here covering VisionOS wonderfulness. And Tuesdays on Mac Voices with macOS. And then Thursdays on In Touch with iOS, covering iOS, iPadOS, VisionOS, really rounding out the week's news.
For me, a lot of the same places that these guys are at. Here on Vision Profiles, Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time is when we stream live. Tuesdays with Chuck Joyner at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we do Mac Voices with Dave and Eric. And then Thursdays, Dave's show, In Touch with iOS, which covers all things iOS. And he's got so much information in that show. And it's great to be a part of that Thursdays here on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then occasionally Friday mornings when I don't have to go to a meeting at the university, you'll find me at the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. I've got other projects on the podtalk.net. You can email us at the podtalknetwork@gmail.com. And I'll tell you, lots of things going on. You can always connect with me at Gencius, Jencius, at mastodon.social or Gencius, Jencius, at Blue Sky. Thanks for tuning in, and we'd love to hear from our listeners, so go ahead and send us an email at the podtalknetwork@gmail.com. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Learn more about us on the Vision Profiles podcast and other podcasts that we do at thepodtalk.net. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.